Bang. And
Welcome to Code Mortals,
the final
blog. And that camera looks a bit off angle.
I think the camera's okay.
Okay, good.
It's just off angle because the camera's set up off angle. You're fine. Don't worry.
Am I still in the shot?
We've had all of our technical issues for the evening.
Okay.
I hope.
Oh, don't jinx it.
It's all going to go well now, right?
Don't jinx it. How are you this evening? Or this afternoon? Or this morning?
Oh, I've done it again. We put the sound on. Hang on, let's turn that off. There we go. Not quite done with the technical issues. Our sound test is there, though, so the sound's working.
If that's the only technical issue, then we're good.
We are good.
That is good.
Cool.
So, what are we doing today? What have we done?
What have we been up to?
For
those that haven't caught the previous 4 streams, we're running a series called CodeKombat. Obviously, the name of the stream, CodeKombat. The first episode we did front end, which we were using Angular. We built a very basic Angular app as a blog, so you could view a list of blogs, view a blog entry, and whatever else it was each of us did at the time for a blog. Second episode, API. So we built a backend with Node, and that was pretty straightforward, I'd say. It wasn't too bad. I think Angular was probably more difficult, interestingly.
You actually had a cause issue. I think one of us had a cause issue or something.
That was in the third episode. So, in the API, you were doing it with Elasticsearch for your database. And I was I'm wearing the t-shirt that's seen. I was using Mongo for mine.
I don't have
it was accidental that I wore the Mongo t-shirt, to be fair.
I don't have an Elasticsearch.
I was using Mongo for my database. So check out episode 2 if you're interested in Node, Mongo, Elastic. Yeah, that was good. Episode 3, we brought it together. So the front end, the back end, linked them all together, and that's where we had some cause issues going on.
Yes, it's true.
But yeah, we resolved those, and that all went quite well, really. So that episode I won. So the first episode was Eddie.
Yes, I won the first one. Number 1.
Second episode was me for the Node.
It was rigged.
Third episode was me again for the full stack stuff.
Although Venkatesh voted for me. I'm just
He did.
saying.
Yeah, you did get a vote out there. I don't know if Venkatesh is with us this evening yet, but say hi if you are. Fourth episode then was testing, automated testing. So we used Cypress, and we added Cypress to the project, set up the automated testing. There's no CI running. It was just running it locally. So yeah, check out episode 4 if you want to see Cypress going with Angular. That was pretty good, and Eddie won that one. It was a close call, but Eddie just pipped the post on the testing. So it's all neck and neck right now, 2-2 so far for the episodes.
So it's the final one, so now you get to choose a winner in 1 hour.
And we're really after you to give us some advice. So as we're building up what our projects are going to do, we'd love some hints and some recommendations to say, can you add this? Can you add that? By all means, give us a bit of a challenge, perhaps, yourselves, as to what you'd like to see added. And otherwise, we're going to be pretty much building out the blog from a CRUD perspective and finishing off as close as we can to having a complete project for a blog.
And you can help me and distract Andrew. Ask him all sorts of questions. Ask him about what he's working on. Ask him what he's wearing.
You do this every week. I think we should reverse the roles, distract Eddie this week. He's going to answer every question you've got.
And Andrew will answer every question you've got that's not about this evening. Okay, I'll answer the ones about today. So,
right, should we quickly do a show of our project? I've not actually got mine running yet.
But you go first.
Okay, I'll go to my screen then. So I'm just going to run my project up. So I need my database up. So let's start the database. And hopefully I have a front end.
I need to get Docker and everything else running.
Yeah, get my backend project. So I should be an NPM start on both sides, I think, if I remember right.
Don't forget to say hi in the chat. Let us know what tech you're using at the moment, what you're interested in, and what you're up to. I've got lots of events coming up as well. I'd love to share those with you. So yeah, say hey in the chat. Don't be shy.
Cool. So hopefully my screen's reasonably readable. The resolution hopefully is not too bad. If you're on a phone, it might be a little bit tricky, but I've started up the database. So Mongo's running locally. I've started up the back end, which is looking good. It's listening for any changes, which we may be making. Front end's just booting up now. My computer goes really slow because I'm hosting the streaming as well, so it'll take it a moment probably to boot up.
It needs a new computer.
Yeah, probably. So very quickly, I'll just show a little bit of the code. So front end, package-wise, we've got Angular there. For the testing, we've got Cypress included. So there's Cypress. We use Cucumber with Cypress as well.
Which is very cool.
For anyone that likes behavior-driven development, Cucumber was pretty cool. Okay, the project's just finished booting up.
And if you don't know what that is, it means writing your tests in English, in a reusable English.
Let me show what one looks like. So for the blog list, for example, the test looks like this. It says there should be 3 blogs on the list. So the first step is we have to prepare something to say what's the API going to return. So it's going to return a pre-built blog list. Then we open the blog and we check there are 3 blog items on the page. And then the view, very similar. This time we start from the blog list. So we want to say we've got a blog list. We're going to have a blog as well to view. We open the blog up. We click the view more button on one of the entries and there should be 1 item. So if I go to the site, which is booted up locally. Okay, there it is. We need to create a blog. Let's put one in. Test. Oh, we can have an image. Hopefully everything's working. I haven't actually checked it's all working. I have a funny feeling I need to change the way the backend runs, but we'll find out in a moment. Let me grab an image. I'll grab one of our little pictures of Byte over here. For anyone who doesn't follow us on Code Mortals yet, Byte is our little mascot.
We've got a few poses. We've got some stickers as well. So if you meet us at an event, we'll share some stickers with you, throwing some snowballs, surfing,
I think I need to start the
Yoda.
backend differently.
I've got my Code Mortals t-shirt on underneath, but I'm a bit cold. In the UK, it's freaking freezing now.
So I need to start my server slightly differently when it's local, I believe. So I'm just going to change that slightly.
Elastic is still running. I think I'm good.
Start local. Yeah, so we changed the commands during the testing last week slightly. So yeah, I just need to change that. Hopefully now the database will connect. There we go. Okay, no, there's all the previous ones. I did wonder where the previous ones was. The one I just added down the bottom. There it is. Byte saying hi. So that was it. A nice simple blog list. You can see them all down there. We can click view more on one of them and it shows with the blog. And there's that create blog page there. It all doesn't look great right now. So one of the things I'm going to try and do is improve the look and feel of it, I think. I'm wondering if I should add an edit or if that's going to go too far. There's testing that I could do. I could consider deployment, but that's a bit of a pain, especially with the back end and the front end.
True.
That would take quite a while. But yeah, by all means, if you've got some ideas of what you'd like to see, I could add a few more fields. At the moment, there's not much there. I mean, a blog probably needs more than a title and an image. It's not a lot to go by. So maybe I could add a few more fields to it and make it a little bit more padded out so that we can have a bit more of a realistic blog.
You could add a markdown renderer, maybe?
Yeah, I might have to cheat a little bit because I haven't got that much time to remember how to do it. But yeah, we could add a little directive to parse markdown. So
okay.
Yeah, well, I might try and build out an input component in Angular, a nice, neat looking input component properly. I can probably do that in about half an hour. That would take up a good chunk of the time, but then I can have nicer looking inputs.
Okay.
I can probably improve my buttons, have a nice button component as well. Yeah, what would you like to see? What sort of stuff would you like to see in Angular? Because you can learn a little bit of Angular, a little bit of building a blog. We can do all sorts of bits.
And the node stuff
we have the basics. Yeah, exactly. With the back end, what else can we do? So, as I said, we could do an edit. There's no edit on the back end yet. We probably want a patch endpoint or something on the back end to edit with. So we could do that as well and show an edit page. So by all means, if you've got things you'd like to see, shout, let me know, and I will try and build them in the next hour when we start the clock.
Pick the hardest thing possible. So
now Eddie would love you to just give him a really complicated task. He started by cheating and using material for his front end.
That's not cheating. That's making use of what exists in the world. We're supposed to use open source libraries, right?
Oh yeah.
So I switch to my screen?
Yeah, you go for it. I'm just setting the clock ready to hit start on our time. We're still going for an hour today. We don't want a bit longer for the final.
No, an hour.
An hour's dead. Okay.
An hour. Let's do it. So mine. Hopefully you can see my screen, and you can see my lovely pink header. And I've got, let me take you to the home page, sorry. So you've got the home page, it just says my blog. Nothing really great there. And then when you go to the blog list page, which is the root is just list, you get my 3 blogs. These are actually coming out of the Elasticsearch database. So this is not hard-coded anymore. And you can click on details, and it loads up that blog post. You do get an error. I'm going to do with image, because I think I started doing something with images and never quite finished it. And then you can go back to the list page.
Give me an idea. I should add Font Awesome to mine because you've got little icons at the top and everything.
It's true.
Maybe I'll add Font Awesome as well while we're at it.
True. I've got a plus. It takes you to the create page, but the create page has got nothing on it. There's a blank page.
You've not got a create page yet? Did you not get that done last week?
I did it in the API, but not on the front end.
Okay, well, there's more for you to get there then.
So I'm not sure what to do today. So I have some ideas. I think they're pretty good, stupid, good, if that's a thing. So my idea.
Well, tell me your ideas because I want to listen and copy for you.
Okay, so my idea. Let me know what you think, and I'll be interested to know in the chat. Let me know what you would like me to build. With maybe the API or maybe the UI. I think we're going to go visual. Everyone wants to visually see stuff, or we can get really geeky into the API. But I was thinking I could, with Elasticsearch, big data.
Yeah, big data. I've got like 5 blogs.
I've got 3. I was thinking I could do some aggregation and some graphs.
A graph of
3.
what for a blog?
Haven't thought that far ahead.
A nice donut that just separates them into different types of blog that you've got out of your 3.
Wouldn't that be a third each? If I put a date on all the blogs, I could have like a bar for each date, which says 1.
You go for it. If you think there's a benefit there, you go for it. You have to sell it to me though at the end.
Not to you. I've said it to the audience. I've said it to you. So what would make you pick me to win over Andrew? Obviously because I'm better looking. But apart from that,
we see now you're sort of tending to the sort of the management out there, aren't you? Going, we can have a graph. You'd like a graph? Yeah, you win. You got a graph.
Yeah, it'll animate as well. The library that I'm thinking of kind of animates the 1, the number 1 and 1. I don't know actually. Now thinking it through with you, I'm thinking maybe it's not such an impressive idea.
Go on. What else? What other ideas have you got? Come on.
Well, there is the create with a form. But that's kind of like boring, and I can't remember how to do it. I have to look at the documentation. But you've got the benefit materials there. You can make the form look quite nice quite quickly. That's true.
What else? Got full width right now. How about a bit of responsiveness? Make it work on mobile phone.
True, I could. And then, with, I could do that.
And now I'm giving you ideas.
Sounds a bit boring, though. I don't know. I just want something so different, so amazing that we win.
What would everyone like to see from a blog? If you could build a blog yourself, having used lots of blogs, what would you love to have? You could have
graphs.
You have likes and graphs. And he really wants a graph. Medium, if you're listening, put some graphs on there.
Okay, maybe not the graph. It's not such a good idea. It started off as a good idea. How is the audio, everyone, by the way? Let us know how the audio and video is. So, okay. Oh, I need some idea, but liking is quite good. So you can give it a thumbs up. If I used Firebase, I could have had real-time graphs.
So you're fixated on graphs.
Okay,
now.
real-time thumbs up and thumbs down.
You can have a graph of your thumbs up and thumbs. Yeah.
I wonder if I could convert the blog post into a way to control. That's season 2. Sorry, can carry away. Which we talk about at the end.
We will talk about season 2 at the end.
Yes.
We've got lots of ideas, and we've hopefully got a vague start date for when season 2 is going to kick off.
That's true. Okay, I'm just going to write hello in the chat so you can see my account as well. Hello, this is me.
Cool.
Right.
So, I think we should probably begin. Oh, Amadine's on. Hello, Amadine.
Audio is very nice. Thank you very much, Amadine. That's awesome to hear. We've got some competition. Amadine, by the way, has an awesome stream. She streams every other Saturdays with entrepreneurs. So do go check out her channel on YouTube and Twitch and LinkedIn now. She was one of the early birds to do LinkedIn streaming, which I haven't done yet.
No.
And I've got to catch up on Amadine's stream from Saturday. But I'll watch that and catch up. But thank you very much for confirming. Right, have you started the timer?
Let's begin.
I don't know what I'm building yet, though. Amadine, help me. For blog posts, you can see my blog post on the screen. It's not very good, but I need to have an edge to beat Andrew. Andrew's has got images. Maybe I should stick images in because you've got images.
I know. I've got pictures of cats right now.
I'm going to do that. First thing is I'm going to stick images in. Okay.
Cool. Right, I'm starting the clock, right? Beginning.
Wait. What's the alarm? Is it alarm?
Countdown. You got... I can't remember.
Alarm.
How
does that sound? Is that a good alarm? I thought that was the end of the...
The spaceship was good. It's got like numbers. It counts. Do the spaceship.
I thought it was the robot.
The spaceship, go on. It does various numbers that don't mean anything whatsoever.
No, I thought that was the robot that does that. The spaceship doesn't do that.
We can't remember what our sound effects do.
We can't actually hear the sound effects, so let us know what you're hearing. Right.
Okay. Clock is started.
Let's go. So
whose screen do you want to see? You're going to keep on yours?
Well, we need another season where people can control our screens and who they see.
Yeah, let's talk about that later.
That's the next season. Okay,
keep mine. Go. I'm going to start working on building an input.
So I'm going to recap what I've got. So I'm just going to have a look. So on the API, here we're using Node. What we have is... This is the API. We have a get to get the blog list. We have a get to get a single blog post. And we have a post to create, but we only post the title and the description. So what we probably need to do is just add an image to that And then we also need to add an update, so the existing blog posts I can add images to, or we can add new ones. So all we need to do, I think, is just duplicate this. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. And if we duplicate this, I don't know what we're calling it. Let's just check the front end. This is the back end, so front end. Let me close Cypress for the moment. So we have in the list, what do we call? I should have a model as well. Here we go, model, post. It's image with the full word image. So we can now change this to image, and then we'll change this to image. So whatever comes in, we're not going to validate it. It's not going to upload a binary. We're just going to get a link of Andrew's done cats, so we'll do rabbits of Google, and we'll put those in as well.
So Ahmedin's a fan of the screen control as well. That's a few votes we've had now for the
Screen control, yes. Nice. I really want to do that, and you can control the audio as well from the Stream Deck. So we've got these audio buttons. Like I think this is thunder. I can't remember what that kind of thunder it sounds like, but
we would have to have another 20 sound effects though, and that's all that happens.
yeah, it'd be cool. So people.
I
can
like the
control
idea of trying to
cameras.
get some Mortal Kombat sound effects and put those on. We need to just check that it wouldn't cause any trouble. I'm sure it wouldn't.
I'm sure it'll be fine. And then, yes, getting you to, in real time, control our screen. So get people to vote on which screen and which sound effects they want to play. And maybe every 30 seconds or minute, it will then calculate up. Oh my God, it's not going to start. What the totals are and flip between them. And that way we can have a camera at the front, Andrew's screen, my screen, maybe a camera behind. We can think of some extra angles to put in. And I think other streamers could then use it, because obviously it'll be open source, and other streamers could also use this to get their audience to control different cameras and screens. But yeah, have a think about that. We'll talk more at the end. Can't let Andrew win. So
Yeah, get coding.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another endpoint on my API, and it's going to be a patch. Well, I can't spell patch. Still can't spell patch. And that means our node application is going to grab the patch. And then what we want to do is we probably want to do an update to Elastic. I have to remember how to do an update. I cannot remember. Let's check the documentation. So Elastic update document. We'll have the ID, so that'll be fine. But let's have a look. This is not using the JavaScript SDK, so we can just say node, and then we can actually see how to do it. I can't remember. It's been a long time. So search is to get one, common, bulk. How can we update a singular one? Let me see. If you know, just write it in the chat, because I've forgotten. Maybe we should look at the bits down the side. API reference. There's a quick start that's really, really useful. Click on configuration. Let's have a look. Usage. It's usually in a quick start. They usually have the simple ones, the search, the kind of get, the post, and the update. Let's have a look. These are all searches. Error handling. Maybe in an introduction. I have definitely seen it in one of their older versions of their. Here you go. Here's their quick start. Okay. Cool. Update. Index. Come on. Yeah, no, it hasn't got it. Right. Okay. You know what? We'll create some more documentation. So some will have images, some won't. We'll come back to this. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we get autocomplete on this. Create, they've got create, there should be an update. Let's have a look. If you see it on my screen, do say. Update. Okay, what parameters is it? I'm guessing it takes the same parameters. Let's have a quick look. Index. Oh, it'll need an ID though. That's the good point. It will need an ID. So I'm guessing it will have an extra property that is an ID, and we will need an ID on this, which will be ID. Oh, /ID. So we've got the ID, and probably just be very similar to that, is what I'm guessing. Okay, well, we can try that. Let's give it a go. You know what? Let's give it a go. We can go straight to our RESTful VS Code interface, and we can give it a go. So we've got list our blogs. So if I run that, actually, if I move that over to the right, split to the right, I don't work very well. And let me see, it should open in the panel next to it. Yeah, there we go. So that's the list. It's got ID, title, and description for each, 1, 2, and 3. Now, if we do an update, we can just use, because this ID works because it gets us one result. So number 2, let's see if we can update number 2. So if I just copy this, and instead of a get, we'll do I think we call it a patch. And we're patching to that ID, but we'll need a body. So let's just steal the body from the post. And it will be that, but we want to change number 2 to say 2A in the title, and description we can leave as 3, and we will want image. Let's just go to Google and grab an image of a cat rabbit. Cute rabbit, rabbit cute. Images. Let's just grab this one. We can image link, I think. Let's see if that works. That does not work because I haven't got the actual image. Goes to YouTube, that's not what we want. Related images. Google Images has changed massively since I've last used it. I can cheat. Open image in new tab. Right, okay, so we've got the image. Let's go back to here and let's put the image in here and let's see if it works. But this will be description 2. So let's run that. Let's see if it updates. We get an error. Unexpected token JSON. Oh, comma at the end of this is invalid. Let's try again. Why is that invalid JSON? We've passed the ID. Let's have a look. Okay, if you notice my mistake, do let me know. Let's close Cypress for now. We'll close the test for now. Where is my code? So we're saying making a patch to blogs, and we want to do an update. Maybe the update doesn't exist. Index. You might need to include type in there. I don't think you have to. This body looks correct. So where's this syntax error? Unexpected closing bracket in JSON. Let's have a look. JSON looks correct for me. I'm guessing it's what we're building up here in the update. Let me see if I can go to this. Parameters. I need to find that example. Let's have a look. Search again. Elastic, search, update, node. I should put an example on there really. Example, update, document. Good old Google. So even after 15 years, you still got to Google stuff. Let's have a look. Connecting, that's all fine. We've got all that working. Using, here we go, update elastic. Update by query. Don't want to do it by query. Is it not just a simple update? Haven't used this in ages. There we go. So create a response object, doc parameter source data. So you can go doc param, which has got an ID index. I thought you might need type. So I have not been using type. So I wonder what type they're going in as. So if we go hit elastic directly, we should get a type. Type is underscore doc. So maybe we need that for the update. Let's have a look. And then it is just ID without the underscore. Okay. Let's try that again. So let's put a type in there. This is why I probably should have specified a type to save issues like this. Okay. We're going to time box this, as we should do with most things. Therefore, we don't just like go down this rabbit hole and usually ask for help. As this is a combat, I might have to move on to something else. Did that run? I do not know. Let me close that and try again just to make sure if it runs. Why is that not running that code? That one runs, interesting enough. My patch does not. Why would my patch not run? The ID is definitely correct. It's separated by the 3 hashes. Number 2, as you can see, hasn't been updated. That's not good. Right. Let me just check, is my API reloading? It's been open. Oh, I've got an error in the API. Okay. This is why it's really good having a second monitor, second screen, and you can have your errors like just next to your logs. Therefore, you can see if something jumps out. Validation error. Okay, let me just comment that out again.
How are you getting on?
Trying to do an
sounds
update.
Like you're getting lots done.
But I've got plan B, which is...
Are you going into the back end, are you?
I am. I need some image strings in there. But I've got a plan B. If this doesn't work, we're going to create some new documents. We'll have some with images and some without. So...
Oh, you've got the issue with the existing data, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right.
I got an error.
Just wipe the database, start over.
That is an easier option. That is an easier option. That's fine. So for now, I'm going to create a new document. So we've got sending this a new request. Let's create a new one. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. We're going to create 4, but we're going to add this image to the 4th one. So create. 4's just been created. So if I list now all the blogs, you should have 4 or 3 multiple times. Interesting enough. My update looked like it was creating new documents. That's fine. And we should have one with an image. We do not. Because I only added it to the update, the image. I did not add it to the create. Post. Oh, it is there. Request image. Having some serious problems now. What have I done? Post image. If we go to 5 now, let's just create a 5th one. It says it's created. Those errors are old. So now let's just we're not mapping it on the list. That's what it is. Okay, so what we do when we call Elasticsearch here and get the list, we are mapping the ID and the title and the description. But we are not mapping the image. So it probably has created multiples with the same image. So image and then image. This is what happens when you don't work on your work for a whole week and you forget. This is why it's really good to do little and often, just every day try and do like half an hour, an hour, if you kind of don't forget what you've been working on. We've got a message. How do you pronounce that name? Drastignator?
Drastigator. Oh, it's...
Almost 160, yes.
That's Ethan.
Oh, is that Ethan?
Hey, Ethan. You're all right. I suppose I should spot to my screen at some point, show what I've been doing. Yes. I've got a styled up input. It needs a bit of improvements, but I can style my inputs now.
Okay, you can steal it in 2 secs. Let me just do a
160, yeah, we're not doing too bad, are we, Ethan? If you can convince a few other people that are watching that they need to subscribe while you're there, and by all means, I need some help as well, Ethan. So if anyone doesn't know, Ethan's my son. He's at home. He's watching. So.
Yeah, Andrew, your dad needs some help.
Feel free to subscribe to his channel if you like playing games. I think he streams a few games. It's a little bit silly. But.
What games
it's
do you
cool.
play, Ethan?
Okay, do you want to swap to my camera for a bit while you're doing that?
Yours. I've got images coming through now, just for the front end. Let's have a.
Okay, I'll show what I've been doing.
Oh, can I switch back? It actually worked. All worked.
Okay, go on then. Show everyone what you got.
Actually, all worked. So on the back end, I've got image coming through on 4 and 5. It's the same image because I was lazy. But when I refresh the front end, you can see 2 and 3 have no images. But on 4 and 5, we have the little rabbit. Look at that. So our blog post now has an image.
And you've got a nice little image in the corner from material.
Exactly.
What happens if you want a big image? What do you have to do?
We can do that too. I want to put
Okay.
I'll come back to me in a minute. We'll sort something out. Over to Andrew's screen.
Okay. So one of the things I said I might look at is trying to style up my inputs, give them a little bit more, make them more interesting than a basic input. So I created a module called input module. I've created a component as quick as I could. Takes a few values, so you can give it a label, a type, because I want probably to have a text area if I'm going to have some content in a moment. So you can have either some text or a text area, and a name for it, sort of standard things you put on input. But to create your own custom input in Angular, the most important thing is this bit here, this implements control value accessor direct interface, I guess, yeah. So we take that interface, and then the other thing you have to do is up here, we have to put in the providers to say that this input component is going to provide a value accessor. So those two things are the main things to make your own custom input in Angular. And then you can pretty much build any input you want once you've got those. So this interface requires you to implement these 4 things. So register changes, register when things are touched, set a disabled state, and the initial value. So what value do you want to set when the component first opens? So you're doing an edit, important to have the initial value available. So all you need is those 4 things. The register on change is basically just a function you have to call. So it gives you the function, and you just have to call it when you want to say there's been a change. So up here in the value, when we set the value, I want to store it within the component. So we set the current value, and then we notify the form that there's been a change, and then we give it the value that's been changed to, and we also mark it that that field has been touched. So if we want some form validation to say this field has been touched, we can do that. And then, yeah, to show it back within our custom input, we have to return the value. So that's it. There's not much code to build a custom input, really, considering all the things you can do with that. And then the HTML, again, fairly straightforward. So I've got a label that's going to sit on there. I'm using Angular's 2-way binding. So we're saying that the 4 is going to use the ID from that component. So that was one of the values we can pass in, was the ID. And actually, in this case, I'm not passing it in, really. I could, but I'm just assigning it. In fact, I don't even need that input. I could take that off. Oh well. I did it rather quickly, just throwing those in. What else have we got? So that's only if the label's been defined. So if the label wasn't defined, I don't want to show it, because I had a slight error momentarily when I didn't put the label value in. If we've got a text area, then if we're not a text area, then we're going to use the HTML input tag, and then we're using Angular's ng model directive to define the value that's going to show. So whilst I've built the main form, if you were to look back at the previous stream, using reactive forms, so here they are. We've got the form builder, and we have 2 fields, a title and an image. In here, we're using the ng model, which is part of the standard forms. If you used Angular 1, very similar to Angular 1 way of managing inputs. So that's enough talking about that. So I've got an input and a text area, and then I've got some styling. So I've written some CSS reasonably quickly. I've got a standard block that just resets an input, gets rid of all the stuff the browser tends to put on there. And then I can add some of my own stuff, like what color border do I want to have, what's the background going to be, when it's disabled, what's going to change, and if I'm focused on it, what I want to do. So I'm making it go green when I focus on it. And if the input was invalid, then it's going to go red instead on the border. So what does that look like? I'm sure everyone wants to see what it will look like. And yeah, I mean, a bit too dark perhaps for an input. I can change the colors in a moment, but they do work. When I hover over it, it goes green. I haven't got any validation there, so it's not going to go red, but it's better than the previous input, which if I was to just go back to here and undo this slightly, I can go back to what the previous inputs were when we don't use it. So the inputs looked like, as it reloads, they look like this, which is the base. Oh, hang on, there it is. That's the basic input that you get normally with HTML. A bit boring. So yeah, instead, I can make them look like this. In fact, I need to just update the labels to use the labels that I've built as well, because at the moment, it's actually not using my labels, it's using the ones up here. So let me drop that in as well. So I'll just say here, label. Oh, I can't spell today. Label is title. Label. Image URL. I should then be able to delete those. In fact, I could delete that div as well. I'm not sure what separation that div's giving me at the moment. It might be giving me some. And just have those two fields. There we go. It looks pretty much the same, right? Because all it's done is move the label from being defined outside to now being defined inside. And that's pretty much it. So I've got a custom input. Let's change the look and feel a little bit because it was a bit dark. So let's make the background a bit lighter. So this was the standard input. It's on 5s. Let's make it, that's the border. Let's make it really light. So go FA maybe. So it's almost white, just a slight off-white. And when it's disabled, we want it to go a bit darker. So let's go do for D's a slightly darker border. So let's have a look now. So instantly, there we go, a lighter input, dark border around it. If I tick on it, the border goes green. Hopefully you can see that, make it a bit bigger. The border's gone green when I focus on it.
Shit, I hit delete instead of add a new one. Damn it, just deleted all my data.
Oh, I do. I don't know, give you a moment to get some work done while I'm talking. That's it. What else can I show? So yeah, green, I think the green's fine. I can click on here and pick a different green if I want. Let's go a bit darker, choose that one. Again, I can do that with all of these. I can change the colors for all of them. If we want the, what was that? I clicked on the border. If I want the background lighter, we can make the background lighter. I think the background's okay. It doesn't need to be much lighter than that, really. The border might be a bit dark. Let's go a little bit lighter. Okay. Let's just check that the disabled works. Whilst we're not disabling any fields at the moment, I always put disabled in, partly because that's what's in the components. If you remember, if we go into the component, one of the things we have to have is a disabled state. So just build the code against that. Right, so let's add another one. I'm going to put in quickly an app input for type, and this is going to be text area now. If you notice there as well, because the IDE is great and Angular is defining only 2 potential things, this is TypeScript kicking in now. So TypeScript is saying you can only have text or a text area, so I'm going to go for the text area this time. And we'll call this, what do you call it? Blog content, let's call it. And again, we can give it a label, so we can say blog content. And we're going to need a new form control we don't have yet. We'll call it content 2. And then the back end will need to reflect that. So let me just add the new field to the form. Content, wasn't it? Interesting, that one's marked as required, but we're not updating the form accordingly. So this really should have something in here to say disabled if the form, so blog form, invalid. Yeah. So hopefully the create blog button, which I could do is styling up as well, but I'm not sure if we've got time to style up 2 components at the moment. There we have, I've got my blog content, the button's disabled because title is required. If I put something in there, the button becomes enabled. Cool. But blog content isn't being saved anywhere, we're not using it yet, so I'm going to need to save that to the back end. We've got that, we're restoring the raw value. So all I need is on the back end another field. So if I go to my code over here, we go to the blog. So the blog controller is going to have another field in here called content, which is going to be request body content. And I don't think we need anything else. We just need to save that, but we're going to need the schema. So Mongo schema needs to know about the field as well, otherwise we won't get the data returned to us, which is called content. Again, we'll keep trim on, that's fine. That reflects what we've got on the front end. That should be it. I should now be able to save content. It won't display yet, so we'll have to update the display, but let's just test it. So test, again, I'm going to grab a picture of byte. And I'm going to grab some text as well. What can I take? I'll take some of the text from here. Keep going back to the wrong thing. I want to go to this tab. Okay, hit create. Okay, should be down the bottom. Byte, there he is. Oh, in fact, that's interesting. I must have already been supporting that, even though I was never populating it, because the text is showing up. So I must have added that in a previous, well, it must have been in the very first one I must have had. So I have a little component down here, my little blog item here. And yeah, it supported content from day one. I must have put that in without ever actually using it. Cool.
I have some cool stuff going on too.
Okay, I'm just going to click on view more and make sure, because yeah, look, that same component follows all the way through. So there it is. I might style this component up a little bit better because it's a little bit boring right now. But if you want to steal the screen share to talk about it, no? Okay, cool. All right, let me style this up a little bit. So I've got
just
titles
saying
and
I
text.
didn't want to show it, just saying.
Okay. Let's see. So I'm going to wrap these up, I think. So I'll put a div. I might put the image to the side. How would that be? If I put the image up to the right a bit, make it a bit smaller so the text sits beneath, or do I put it next to the text? Yeah, next to the text might make more sense, actually. So I'm going to take that, I'm going to wrap the div around the image and the content. And we'll call this class blog content. So go to the CSS, and we can add another one. So we've got title, got image. Let's add another and content. Let's use grid for this because that's probably hopefully grid's going to work. I think I tried grid the other day and it misbehaved on me. Grid template columns, we want it in columns. We probably have auto and min content. That might actually remove the image. No, it didn't, because the image is on the left. Yeah, let's go the other way around. Let's go min content on the image and auto on the text. Okay, so we can stick the text next to the image. Possibly better. Image is too big. I've got here this. I'm going to say max width of, let's make it half that, 200 maybe. Okay, cool. They're right up next to each other though. Could do with a bit of space. So grid has a lovely thing called grid gap. And I can just give that 2 rems. So I think 1 rem is 20 pixels, so it should be a 40 pixel gap. There it is. 40. It doesn't look like 40 pixels to me. Looks smaller, but we'll go with it. So it should be taking that from the overall style up here. Body, hang on, because it probably needs that as well to be sat at the top of the stack. This could change the entire look and feel.
In a good way or a bad way?
No, it didn't actually change it. Maybe it is 40 pixels. It just looks too small. Maybe it is 40 pixels. Anyway, yeah, it's got some space there now. And that was all from grid gap. So we've got title, got that. If I go back, all of these will update. So there's now some space for text on the side. Obviously, I've only got 1 input field. I should probably have a summary and content because really, you don't tend to show all the content on here. I suppose you might snip it down. So you might say on this page, we want to just show a reduced amount of text. Yeah, that'll do. We're only doing a simple blog. We don't do anything clever. And the date, I might move the date up next to the content. That'd be a bit neater. It's all about tidying things up. What else can I add that would be quite interesting? Anyone got any ideas of what they would like to see that would be a bit more interesting? Margin, let's get rid of the margin on the title. It was the H one, wasn't it? Yeah. And then the date is a little bit smaller on the text. Yeah, that's probably good. Let's have a look. Come on. That doesn't look right. What's going on? Let's have a look. Maybe it's padding and I've removed the wrong thing. So we get to the inspect. That looks about right. It's this one. The blog date has loads of padding around it. So let's remove the padding at the top on the date. Because it's in a p tag, right? Yeah, we'll keep it in a p tag. I don't need to change that. We'll just change the padding at the top. So, was it padding or margin? Might be margin. It was orange, wasn't it? So 0 at the top, 0 left and right, but we'll keep some at the bottom. Let's go 1. Okay, there we go. Right, so we've got the date now right next to it. We could change the format of the date maybe. It's in the kind of the default format, I think, right now. Where are we? Date. Oh, it's set to short. Is it medium, I think is one? What does that look like? Gives us a little bit more. November the 11th rather than that. I don't know, we need seconds. We could go do our own custom format. Let's see, custom formats, month first, day, and year is probably useful. Hours and minutes. Do 24-hour clock. So that should change to 1951.
My evil plan is coming together. Materials saving my ass.
There we go. Oh, I got the Y's wrong. I think they're lowercase y's. Material saving you.
Yeah.
In a good way, I assume.
At the moment, yeah.
You've got a create form going.
No, I ain't got that far yet. I've got a subtitle.
Okay.
I'm really excited about it.
Well, I'm reasonably happy with where this is starting to look now. I could move the view more to be a link up the top here rather than down the bottom. It's a little bit boring down the bottom. That comes from here as well, doesn't it? So let's take that and drop that in up here as well. So to do that, I'm going to need a couple of divs wrapping around this stuff. Okay, put that one over there. Let's format it. Okay, so I've got a div for the top, a div for those dates, and a div for here. So I'll just probably need to do this one. We'll keep title there. So we'll call this class.
I think
header.
mine's looking sexy. I think I have to show mine soon.
I should probably rename these ones as well. You're going to show yours in a second. Okay, well, let me finish doing the little
no worries.
header
Let me know.
change.
Let me know, and then this is looking good.
So I'm just going to wrap this in a header. So title and image is also inside this now. And again, I'm going to just use grid for this. So display, grid, and then same thing, grid, template columns. And now we want auto on the left, and then we just want min content. Is it min content? It might be max content, actually, because we've got 2 words there right now, unless we change it to a button. So it's probably max content to get the view more to sit right. Okay, come on. There it is, right, it's up on the side now. Spacing's gone tall on here now. Why has the spacing gone tall? There must be something missing. Date sits inside this too. Yeah, I put the wrong one. Image is on the outside, isn't it? Image and content. I probably also need to align these. I always get the aligns wrong. So align items, center. So I just want to bring the view more to be more centralized on that row. Why does that look at the bottom? It's probably because of the padding, right? Let's have a quick look, inspect. Yeah, it's because of the padding at the bottom. It looks a little bit low. We'll stick with it. I don't think it's too bad. No, I don't like it. I've changed my mind. I don't like it. It looks a bit ugly. I'll get rid of that. But I can put that anchor tag. So there's an anchor tag here, right, that does it. That's a bit too big, I think, the text. So I'm going to add an A, which is going to have a slightly smaller size. We'll go similar to the date, 0.8. Let's get rid of the underline as well. We don't need that. So text decoration. Whilst it's perhaps good from a accessibility point of view, everyone always turns it off on these, don't they? You have a hover state that looks different colour normally. In fact, we could do some of that. We can say if we visited it, so and visited or active. Let's keep the color the same. So what color should we have these? We need a different color. We haven't got one yet. Let me go to the color picker. It's easier. I'll go for a sort of orange, similar sort of color to bike. And then when we hover it, we want a different color. So let's add that. And I'll hover. Let's make it go.
Yes.
Go for a blue, shall we? There we go.
This is how we do it.
Let's have a look. Cool, it's gone blue. Why is this one already blue? I missed a tag. You have visited, you have active. What's the other ones you have to do?
Visited, active, hover.
Got hover.
Anyone
Focus
else?
shouldn't need it.
Focus.
We're not focused on that one. This one here is being blue when it shouldn't be. It should be going the sort of the dirty orange as well. It's because they haven't yet been visited, and that's why. Because I haven't got a default color. That would help. So it's using the browser's default, which is blue. That's what was throwing me. I thought I'd gone and done something with my blue for the hover. There we go. That's better. So the stuff that hasn't been visited is now picked up as well. A little bit neater. I can probably do a bit more work on these box up. I think Eddie wants to show you some stuff.
Just
I've been on the
broken
screen
it.
for a while.
Got a white page.
It was got
I've
23
busted
minutes.
it.
I think we have. I'll give you another 2 minutes to fix it. No, show your errors.
I know
Go
what
on.
I've done.
Do you want to show your errors and how you fix it?
It's just typo.
That's a typo. Okay.
Don't think that interesting.
All right.
I missed a closing bracket.
I'm bringing you up.
Oh, it doesn't work. What is wrong with that? Eddie. Posts. S. Not having a good day today. So just vote for me. I'm relying on all of you to vote for me. Right. Still not working. Oh, I'm missing a bracket again. What's wrong with me,
I'm
Eddie?
gonna wipe my local database, I think, so I can start with some fresh
So
stuff.
let me show you what I've been doing. I've been working hard while you've been messing around with Andrew, playing games. Show you what I've been doing. So if you look, what I've done, I have now saving a subtitle and 2 images on this page. On the list page, I'm only showing you 1 image, like the kind of the profile picture image that Material gives us. So you've got 3 blog posts, and I've updated the titles to be more realistic. And now if you click on details, you get the blog post details, but you also get the main image of that blog post. And I've added a back button up here. There is a back button at the bottom. I added a back button here, and they've all got different images. If you look, how cute is that rabbit? That's a winning app right there.
Winning rabbit, have you?
That's a winning app, that is. So there is some error in the console log, but let's just ignore that for now. Don't do Andrew. Okay. So bit of ASMR there. ASMR. Right, so that's looking pretty cool now. I think that's a winning app. That is definitely. So vote for me. I've got number 3 at the top. What else can I add now? So, yeah, I still go back to my graphs idea, but I don't know what I'd show for the graph. So maybe that's not such a good idea.
Come on, you can get some more stuff in there.
What can I do? You want me to do the create and update? That just didn't.
You haven't got to create yet. Oh.
Yeah,
Still can't believe you've not got to create.
I'm working on the cool stuff.
Create is cool. What's wrong with create? It's a forum.
I've got a wicked idea. I have a wicked idea.
You auto-generate a new blog when you press a button.
Well, that's a pretty good idea. That wasn't my idea. Mine was much worse. That's pretty cool. To randomly get an image, randomly get a title, randomly. That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can do that in 20 minutes.
Let's try. What do you think? Can we do it? I think we can do it. So let's have a look. There's this package called Faker, and I think it's pretty cool. I haven't used it, but I've read about it. So let's have a look. I wonder if it can do pictures. Let's see. Addresses, commerce, company, database, date, finance, hacker, helpers, image. Oh, golden. Right, let's get this bad boy going. So, how do we install it? We'll need an npm thing. Why is there no npm install? Curl? Not curling nothing. It's got a CDN. Last published 3 years ago. Oh, has it not been
Doesn't sound very
updated?
good.
No, it doesn't. Got a shitload of downloads though. 22 days ago. Don't know why that's a bit weird. Okay. Yeah, I guess for Node it's just Faker. Right, let's just get going. Let's cook this on gas. So we need to go into the back end or front end. Where do I put it? I put it at the back end, really.
I don't know. I want to try and get font awesome added before the timer runs out.
npm install. It's going to be a dev dependency, I think. You wouldn't do it for prod. And install Faker. Then the front end could just hit the back end. The back end can create all that stuff, all that magic. Right. What we need to do, I'm guessing, is on here we create another endpoint. We'll make it a get, nice and simple. Let's just duplicate it. Oh, don't want to do that. And we will do fake. We'll call it fake. And then really simple blogs. It's not a get though, so we're going to nick what we need from the create. Where's the post? Here we go. So we create it with Elastic. So this is copy and paste development. Oh, can I do it like that? Let's just check. Oh, I don't know why I've put it in there. I don't need to put it in there. I don't need those extra brackets. So I could put it in like this. Right. Okay, so we got fake, we got index, and then we haven't got data from the body coming in. What we want to do is use this library to create it for us. This is going to be, Andrew, this is actually one of your best ideas ever.
What's randomly generate a blog?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
I shouldn't give you these ideas, should I?
That's the winning thing. I can sense it.
Well, if you win from that idea, then by default I win.
No, doesn't work like that. Ideas are cheap.
Development's not.
Development is really hard. What can we do? Commerce, product, address, database, date, finance. What can we create? So we've got the title. I found the title as a name. It's probably not great. Randomize, must start. What can we do? Got image we're going to need, right? So image, avatar. So we're going to need an avatar for sure. So let me go. So we need for the first one
16 minutes on the clock.
Is that all we've got left? No way.
Chat's very quiet at the moment.
It's kind of good. I'm not kind of complaining. Here we go. Sentence, right.
If anyone's got any requests, anything you want to see, let us know.
Yeah, do let us know. So we want to go lorem.
We're getting close. The last 15 minutes now.
And then sentence. Sentence. Okay, this is how it works. So on avatar, you need to go dot what? It wasn't clear. Oh, I'm guessing it's image avatar, right?
Where's it going to pull the image from? They're hosting them all, are they?
I have no idea. We're going to find out soon enough, though. Oh, animals. I'll do an avatar, and then I'll do animals for the other one. So what we'll do is we'll delete this. Go image 2. Let's have a look. We'll do animals. So we need description now, so we could probably go for this one. Go faker.lorem.paragraphs. We'll get some more. Oh, you can put how many you want, I think. How many paragraphs you want. Number. We'll get 3. This could be epic. Seriously, like this is golden. I wonder if instead of sentence, what else we have? Text, words, just words. Okay, I need to try this out. This is just too good. So on the what we'll do on the front end, on the create, we will just make. Let me see. We'll make a function. We've got the add. So we've got the page. We don't really need to go to a page. We just need to. So we can change that. Let me see, app component. So what we'll do is we'll get it to call on the click. So on the create, it's got a router link at the moment, but we don't need a router link. We will have it as a click, and we will call the function just create. Right, what's wrong with that? It doesn't exist yet. I haven't created it yet, that's why. So public function. That's not your right stuff. It's the class, Eddie. What am I doing? So let me see. We need to go enter the service, right? I think we have a service, blog service. So it will be very similar to the find all. We will have it as a create, and we will hit the backend with the endpoint fake, and it should create one. So then for here, we want to go public. We'll just call it create. It's going to return nothing. We probably want to reload the find all though, so that's actually an interesting thing. We can do that, add that later on. So it doesn't need any variables. It returns nothing, but we want to now include, if we make a constructor, we want to include the blog service. So blog service with type blog service. And then in here we will go this. I need to put private in front so it can automatically make it as a class variable. This blog service dot create. Right, save that. Why is that red? Oh, now it's not red because we've created the function. Okay, time flies. It does. How long have we got left on the timer, Andrew?
Oh, gosh.
Really count down.
I'm scared to look. 12 minutes.
12 minutes until I win. Okay, let's just try. Positive thinking.
I know. So I've got to really rush.
So if I hit create, did we get an error or was that error old? Let's try again. Create, no error. And then if I go to my VS Code, and let's just check. If I go list stuff in Elastic, we have 6, so some got created. Okay, let's refresh the UI and see what we have. We only have 3. That did not work very well. How do I have 6 then? That's gone straight to Elastic. 1, 2, 3. Oh, took 6 seconds, not you have 6 documents. Right. So it didn't work. Why did it not work? Andrew, why didn't it work? Do I have any errors?
Do you need it to work?
I do need it to work. This is like make it or break it for my app.
Could be it.
So let's go back to the back end and find out why this didn't get created. So we have no error handling, which is kind of stupid. So let's have a look. Let's just put a console log in here. I think this is why we did it this way before. So we could have a console log. And then, oh, not in there. Let's put it before. Let's just check that it does run. It does come here. You know, always a good place to start. So let's just say faker. Rerun that. And then let's go to the UI. It won't appear in this console. Let's just see if it's hitting the backend. We're also supposed to see it in network as well. Oh, it's not going to the backend. Right, okay. So that could be a problem. So it probably was working on the backend. And actually, we could test this. I am pretty
Just
stupid.
get Postman open or
Yeah,
your
exactly.
little inbuilt Postman.
That's what I want to do. I forgot to do that. Rushing never helps. So now if we make a get to fake, seems to have worked. So now if we do the list, not the post, where's the list gone? Well, I can just go to blogs on here and run that. Do we get more results? Yes, we've got some weird results with some Lorem Ipsum stuff. So it does work. So the API works. We are good. We just need to find out why it's not calling the backend. So create should call this. We're not subscribing to it. That could be a problem. So with RxJS, when you subscribe is when it actually makes the request. So we can put a subscribe, and we could collect the data and console log it to the browser just to have a quick look at what's going on. I don't think the return is very useful, but we can see if it's been been successful. So now we've got the subscribe, it will actually make the call. And you can see this is the one I created by calling the backend directly. And if I hit create again, we get a correct successful result. If I refresh the page, we've got another result. So we've gone up to 5. Perfect. So what we're going to do now on that subscribe is either we can get it to reload that data. So therefore, we do not have to reload the page. So what we'll do is we will go this blog service dot find all. Probably want to do that in a pipe. So let me add a pipe so we can chain these. So let me see. How can I pass that into that component is the other issue. Very good question. Maybe we will do a redirect for now. Yes, we'll do a redirect. We'll keep it simple, right? And I can't remember how to do a redirect either. Angular redirect. Let's have a look. How are we doing on time? How are we doing?
We're down to 8 minutes.
8 minutes, come on.
I can show a bit more of what I've been doing if you want.
Yeah, do it. I'm just searching some docs for redirect. All yours, Andrew.
All mine, okay. I have mostly been working on a header, I think. I've added Font Awesome, and I was working on a navigation header for the page to try and just clean things up a bit, because one of the things I didn't like was the top of the page was a bit horrible. So I'm hopefully pretty much there. Let's have a quick look, see how it's looking. There we go. Right, so my blog now is just the title still, and I have 2 buttons on the side. They're bunched up right next to each other. So one of the things I need to do is separate them a bit. Again, I'm using grid, so I could do with a gap on that. We'll just go for 1 rem. Okay, that's better. Now I can hit them both. They're a little bit small. I could do making them a bit bigger. So I'm using Font Awesome. So to get Font Awesome working, I'm going to be very quick because we're running out of time. We add the Font Awesome library. So there's a couple of libraries. If I just go to the package JSON down here, a couple of libraries you need. So Angular Font Awesome is one of them. And then you need the core Font Awesome library, and then the image pack you want to use. So SVG icons, the solid ones is what I'm using. The solid and regular are free. Otherwise, you've got to pay for the pro stuff. But yeah, I'm not paying for stuff right now on this. But that allows me to then, within the module, I can add the module, add the library, and then I can declare which icons I want to use. So it's not going to have the entire Font Awesome being served to the browser. It's only going to be the icons that I've actually stated. So we include the module in the imports, and then down here we specify these are the icons to add and make available to the browser. And then very simply in the text here we just say FA icon, and we say it's from the FAS, so the solid icon set from Font Awesome. And that's the home icon, and then the plus icon to add one. But also what we can do is has a size value. So we can say size, let's just go large. Go large, just like...
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't go too large though, because we don't want buttons that take over the page. When it goes
Buttons
up to like
take over the
10x
world
or something. So large, they're a bit bigger now, a bit better to hit those. But the whole thing's a bit squashed up there. So let's make it have a bit more space. So we've got the navigation. I'm going to add some margin to the bottom. So just margin. Actually, let's just set the whole thing around. So 0, 0, and then 2 rems. Let's give it a bit of space. Background color maybe. It's a bit dark. It's a bit light up there. Could do with standing out a bit. What's a good background color?
Okay.
I don't know.
Last minute changes.
Don't do last minute changes. It all goes wrong.
I need to do last minute changes.
Oh no. Okay, I'm going to go for a fairly light blue.
I think you should do some last minute changes as well.
It's gone kind of purple, that blue. That's not very good. Let's go this nice teal colour. There we go. Let's see, how's that look? There it is. It's sat up there. It's not. It's a bit ugly actually. I don't like the blue with the orange. What's a good colour that goes with orange? I could do getting my colour wheel out and having a look. Yellow perhaps.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that's not so bad. Does only sit in the middle because we haven't really got the best of layout setups, and I haven't got time to change it, unfortunately.
You got time, change it.
Yeah, Eddie's hopeful that I'm going to completely mess everything up. I'm not having a failing bit of code at the end of this. Not like the first week. That was a disaster. I'm making sure I check every few minutes on this to make sure we don't break it.
I'm breaking mine though. Refactoring it.
There we go. A bit more space at the top. So my blog. All right. You could argue yellow is not the best color, and then some stuff around here. We could change the whole page color a bit, because normally what we'd have at the top would probably have a separate piece. But this is all built into the same component. But we could set the whole page to have a different background color, maybe. There would be no harm in doing that, would there? So background color. We've got yellow at the top. So maybe you go for another yellow, just a lighter yellow. It's picking up the colors I've already used. So maybe I could go something a little bit down here a bit. There we go. Let's change the whole background a little. It's not too bad. Everything stands out a bit more now. You see, I've reset the blog, so I've just basically copied our CodeMortals website and taken the text off those to use. So join the community. All looks fairly neat. I'm reasonably comfortable with that. I can hit view more. It takes us back. If I hit the home button, it takes us back to the list. Hit the plus button. Oh, it creates quite hard to see the create button there. I don't know that I've got time to start the create button a bit. Yeah, we've got 3 minutes. I can't build an
no, I've busted mine.
I can't build another input in 3 minutes. What do I do with the button?
I think we need an extension.
I asked you at the start, how long do you want?
What do you all think? I think we need a slight extension.
I'm going to do a very crude and dirty style URL. I'm going to do really simple, make the button look a bit better.
Switch map.
Normally I'd want this as its own component, but I haven't got time to build another module for a button. So we're into last minute rush work.
Sudden death.
Component SCSS. So just for the button.
Auto importing.
Background color. I could do the reset stuff. I need a button reset. Button reset CSS. Overriding the default button styles. Come on. Oh, where is it? Just give me the code. I don't want to see all that. I just want to see what I need to do. Oh, that probably wasn't the best one to go to. Let's try this one. There's a nice gist on GitHub. I'm going to accept that must be correct, so let's go with it. Okay, border. Yeah, I do want. No, I want a background color. What color do I want the button to be? Let's have a blue.
Okay, I might have this working. Come on.
Let's see. What did we get? There it is.
No!
It's sat there. It's blue. It's a bit dark. Just go for a lighter blue. I should make the text white. Actually, let's just make the content white. So
Why does that not work?
White.
That should work.
Oh, it's got a color inherit down there. Let's take that out.
That should work.
Okay, it's not too bad. We could do a bit of padding around it. It's reset to 0. So let's go. Let's just go for 1
That's
rem.
weird.
Maybe a bit less top and bottom. 0.5 with 0.5. 54 seconds.
No.
Oh, don't panic. You can do it.
Why is that not working the way I want?
That's not too bad. I'm reasonably happy with that for a button.
You need to show off.
Could do with a hover state on the button, but I'm happy enough with that.
Okay.
I haven't got time to pull the hover state. So I'm going to have to say that will do.
Oh dear.
So we can make the top a bit nicer. It's still a little bit simple. But yeah, we've added a few things. I can talk about that in a minute. I'm not going to break it with the last kind of 15 seconds to go.
Break it.
I'll count 10, 9, 8.
Okay, let me drop. Okay, we're going to drop our database and start from the
6,
beginning, right?
5, 4, 3,
Oh, you need to do the countdown.
2, 1. Time's up. Wow.
What a 4 weeks,
I
5
enjoy
weeks
these,
has
but
been.
they are stressful doing
They
these.
are.
Especially when the clock's running out and you think, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. So many more bits I'd like to add and tidy up. But I'm happy. It's a much more usable blog there.
I'm ecstatic. Stressed, tired, but ecstatic because that faker thing is actually pretty cool.
Faker is cool. I do like faker.
That is really, really good. So
But it's not difficult to put in either. So nice when you want to put crap in because you haven't got time to build a proper form to actually add stuff.
Yeah, but that's type stuff. This is more efficient. So when you're voting, think of efficiency.
If you like to read a blog that makes no sense at all, use faker.
Yes. So do you want to demo yours
who's
first?
going first?
You go first.
I can demo what we've got. So we now have a slightly nicer navigation.
It's a lot of
I've
yellow.
gone for lots of yellow. Yeah. It was looking a bit dark. I wanted something bright and colourful, make everyone think it's summertime whilst we're going into winter.
It's a bit narrow on the screen. I've got a wide screen.
What do you mean it's been narrow? I can go as wide as I want on the screen. The content doesn't.
I don't want more yellow. I want less
So,
yellow.
hey, I can go
Okay,
wide.
I think mine is.
So yeah.
Where's the rubber? Have you hidden the rubber? So
I will be checking your responsiveness in a minute, but yeah, I've got a title. It's called My Blog. I've got to give it any name, but My Vlog. I've got a create button. We can create blogs. Let's add another one. I've run out of these because I've used them all already. I'll take the guy at the top.
You should delete the data and start again.
Well, you hopefully it's going to break stuff when I delete it. Okay, let's see what happens. If I go into my database then, and we go to here, and I use the CodeKombat database, and I tell it to drop the database, which I did earlier, so I do know this works. And I hit refresh. And I should have an empty blog with just the title.
Okay.
So I can still hit create.
And you have to actually, now you want a new one, you have to actually type in the title that you want.
I know, the one that you actually want, not...
But you have to type it in.
Something that people can read and understand.
I thought this was more about automation. I don't see any automation.
You don't see me typing here. You see me doing copy
and paste. That's worse.
Because it is copy and paste blog making.
Copy and paste blog making.
So I can copy the next one and we can pop that in and I can hit create blog. And there it is. There's that blog entry.
Nice. It was fast as well.
That's one of the awesome things about single page apps, right? They're really quick.
Well, not all of them. I was using Facebook. That's just dog slow now.
Yeah, no, there are some that, to a degree, it's the amount of data they've got, to be fair to them. But yeah, I'm sure they could still do better. So I've obviously tied up the header inside here, so it looks a bit neater. I can click the view more in the corner. And obviously, because I've only got one on the list, it doesn't look like much. The only thing that happened was it deleted them, so I can go back to the home page. But let's add another one, okay, so you can actually see
I'm not sure what's the difference between the view more and the list.
It's using the same component because that's reuse for you.
Okay, but what's the benefit in viewing more if I see the same information on the list?
Well, because we haven't yet got more and more information.
More and more information.
Yeah, just like loads and loads. We could have a blog post that's like 20 pages long, but really there's probably another field, like a summary and a content.
Okay, so,
right?
paste that in like 5 times. What happens?
Well, it's going to be longer on the side, isn't it?
Okay, so the view, just for the record, the view button is a negative point. It's bad UX because it doesn't help.
But it allows you to focus. I can come up with an excuse. Nothing wrong. We'll see what you've got in a second.
Yeah, mine's going to be so much worse. I should be nice to you.
Okay, you want me to copy and paste a bit more?
Like
so
5 times.
I will take that text.
Yeah, because you haven't got that button that creates it for you automatically, so you have to like.
And the awesome thing is, because I'm using no formatting, the fact I just put space in there makes no difference.
Oh, really?
So I'm just going to have a long block of text that repeats over because we're not using any markdown or anything to format it. I could have put a pre-tag around there, I suppose, just to make it have the white space in there, but yeah.
Okay.
So there it is. So I've got 3 posts, and if I click the middle one, there it is. It focuses my attention to just that middle one. And I can click the home button to go back to the list.
Click the big one. Go view the more details in the big one.
Be the same.
Okay.
It all works.
Right. Okay. That's good. Well done.
I think for effectively 5 hours of work, we've got a working front end with list, a view, a form create that lets us create an entry, and a back end that works with it.
And automated testing.
And automated testing that I have no idea if it still works after the update.
Does it work?
Because I haven't got around to retesting the front end.
Okay, that's fine. But you had it working.
We had testing last week, and we know that since the last episode it worked.
Okay. Right, so everyone, remember that. Remember the sun. The nice view bright, makes no difference. And
we have a create form. We can add whatever we want.
Manually.
We don't have to fake it.
Manually. Okay, so let's go. Let me show you the winning project. So I'll start again from the beginning, and I will, like Andrew, I will delete all my blog posts, and we'll start again from the beginning. And look at that. That's beautiful, really. My browser's crashed. Wait a second. This is beautiful. Look, blog post list 0. I actually have a number, so I know how many I haven't got. So how good is that?
How many blogs do you go to that say there is no blogs on there?
Yeah, but I'm working up to this. Is like building suspense. I'm trying to tell a story here. So how many do you have? I don't know how many you have.
Doesn't matter. People are only interested in the top stuff from a blog anyway. If you've got like 300 pages, who cares? No, people just want to see the top 3 or 4.
So I have. Now I don't have to copy and paste. I don't have to write a title. I don't have to any of that. I can just hit plus, plus, plus.
Where
plus,
are they? I can't see them appearing.
Plus. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
You don't even know how many you've added. You've just been hitting a button. Are you even hitting the right button?
Refresh. 6! I don't know what happened there.
You managed to make 6 blogs. Go on. Can you read the first one to me? I want to see how coherent it is.
So the first one was written by this guy, Esther Minus. And
Esther Minus. What a good name.
Don't be racist. People have some weird names.
I was going to say that sounds like my next YouTube.
Different names. And the title of the blog post is Amit Ki Estabo Estevan.
Can I have that in English, please?
Look, the blog post is mine is multilingual blog post.
Oh right, you've got internationalization.
Internationalization. That's what I was looking for. So and look, if you look on mine. It has the title, the subtitle, and the body.
There's a small issue with your internationalization, though. It still says blog post list at the top. Shouldn't that be in? Was it Spanish?
That's global. That's the same in every language. Universal. That's the word, not global. Universal.
Okay.
And so is the number 6. They don't change that. Okay. So let me just add a few more. I don't. Oh, they're appearing now. I think
Latin actually, is it? Yeah.
It is Latin. Yeah. There's a bit of a lag because of the internet and all the people using this blog post. It's not scaling at the moment.
It's a bit slow.
Yeah.
It's like Facebook.
Yes. But the great thing about mine, not only can it create data, it can also, if you click details.
It's very dark, yours, though. Look at all that
it's
black
dark.
on there.
Everyone loves dark mode.
Oh, yeah, I see. You've gone dark mode,
Dark mode, yeah.
You're into winter.
Yeah. So if I click details, notice the difference. You actually get more details.
You've got a massive picture. You could have made that a bit more sensible size. I mean, at least for mine, you can see more than just half of a picture.
But it's because it's just really engaging picture. And I just want to show you, if you're at the top, you get this back button. But if you go to another blog post, and then this is a picture of Andrew when he sees my blog post. But if you scroll down, not only do you have the writing, you get the back button again that says back.
Why do you need a back button? You just have a home button.
And look at that. And then if you want to see another picture, it's a giraffe again. That person plagiarized. That person plagiarized the picture. But okay, let's just see one more. It's a rhino's ass. I think I've won. I think I have won based on the quality of my blog post. I've taken it off my screen now. Should put my screen back on?
I think you win the amusement factor, that's for sure.
Okay, so what are we catering to? On technical?
So comedy value, I think Eddie's won. The comedy value, I'll give him that. Comedy value is with Eddie. Because, I've not laughed for a while. That was good. Oh, hey, Venkatesh. Yeah, sorry you are late. You've missed the coding part, but you're here for the main event. Where
the demos. Oh, the rhino again. Okay, wait a second.
There's something wrong with the number of images you've got there. I thought it was supposed to be fake. You expect it to be a bit more random than what you're getting.
I have a picture of Andrew somewhere. Where is it? He's a giraffe.
My neck's not that long.
Hey, Venkatesh. Yes. So Andrew gave a demo, and it was good. It was very bright in yellow.
It was bright.
The
details. I can just show it again very quickly. I've still got it open. I'll just quickly flick it over if you've just joined. It's a very yellow-looking blog. If you remember what we had previous. Oh, you now got a bloom.
Another picture of Andrew.
Well, I'm gonna have to do something about that. But yeah, so I've got my blog list. I've got my navigation at the top. I have an input, and we have customized the input. So Angular now with custom input components on there. including the button, the nice style button.
You have to create your own blog post and not auto-generated like mine.
Yeah, you got to create them yourself. Yeah, that's enough anyway. If you want to see a bit more, you'll have to perhaps rewatch a few minutes. But that's largely what I've got.
And I found
Eddie wants to show some more.
I do, because I found an interesting issue with Faker is that when it generates the image URL, the bit that's picking it up, I guess, on their servers changes. So if I refresh,
so if you go into it,
it
you get a new blog every time.
A new blog picture, you get the. Well, I don't know actually. Let me just check. No, the text stays the same because I've saved the text in the database.
But the image is referencing a single location, I guess. That means it's generating new every time.
That is me.
That's going to be you in the next 5 minutes.
It is. And I think they've only got a limit of like 10 photos and some missing ones as well. Andrew's appeared again.
Thanks.
Where's the cat one was the best. My favourite one is not appearing. Okay, I give up. But anyway, you get. Oh, sorry, you get it. So right,
it's using the default material styles.
Oh yes, mine looks good though, right? You look at this.
Yeah, but it's not very good. I mean, look at its full width with edge to edge there.
That's what all the cool kids do.
Well, I know Samsung seem to want that with their phones, so you can't see the very edge of it.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, right, let's have a vote. So, Venkatesh, I know you just arrived, but I think you should vote on who's the best app.
Well, I think, as I said, comedy value, Eddie is definitely one. I think technical value, come on, I've got more technical stuff going on in here with custom inputs. I've got font awesome going as well.
It's pretty
for
good.
Icons.
I have material.
So I can have like as many icons as I like, but as material, I think it's only got like 1,000. Font awesome's got like 14,000 or something ridiculous now.
Okay. So the next question. Okay, so
so do I win technical?
So you can win technical. I won comical. Whose looks better?
Usability, overall usability.
Well, your view doesn't do jack.
Do my view.
When you click on it, it just shows you the same information. I get an extra picture.
Does that make it more usable?
I think so.
You can't even see half the picture. Half of it's off the bottom of the page.
Wait a second. Maybe I can just make it smaller.
Can you read the text now?
Okay. And then what other categories?
What information are you showing? Let's have a look. I've got a title, a date that it was done on, a picture.
You've got a date. That's pretty good. Give me 5 minutes. I can put a date.
And some content.
Venkatesh is asking, is mine a random picture? Yes. I'm using Faker to generate my data. So I've got this plus button. And I can just...
So Faker's quite a cool library that you can just call and it will create strings of text that you can specify the length you want it. And there's all sorts of things you can do. It is quite a cool library. So if you ever want to fake data for, well, maybe not for automated tests perhaps, because that might... It depends on what you're doing for automated testing. But you might end up, if you're looking for particular bits of text, it won't always be there because it will generate something different every time. But Faker is pretty cool for just throwing some data into something.
But the downside is I'm saving the images, but just the location to it, and I think it's the function that I've used is kind of like, I don't know, a random endpoint. So every time the browser loads, it brings up a different image. Whereas I think if you look, the profile pictures stay the same, so they don't change. So it's just I guess there were so many image options, and the one I picked just happened to be random. So I'll leave a picture of Andrew. I still prefer the cat. The cat's the favourite.
The cat's better.
But I can't get the cat back yet.
You had it a moment ago.
I know, I lost it. I refreshed it. So, yes. But the cat is when Andrew's looking at my blog post and seeing. So,
oh my God, you call that code.
Yes, here we go. Right. So, who do you think should win? I think we need a vote. We probably just have Venkatesh on. So, Venkatesh, you have the deciding vote. Who should win?
Venkatesh has been here for the previous ones as well. So
yes, that's true.
Overall. We've had two that have been really close calls. We're 2-2 right now. This is the final one for the series. So the question is, whilst Eddie has got the comical value with how he fakes his data.
Automated faking data.
And some of the craziness that comes up. I mean, I'm still waiting for you to translate that text. I want to know what it says in English.
It says Eddie 1.
Oh, does it?
It does, in Latin.
And then so far I've got the point for the technical side, right? So as far as, custom inputs in Angular, I've got this cool yellow, nice kind of summer feel to it.
Suntan.
I've got a little component at the top that gives me a navigation header. I've got a reusable component that means that whatever I see on my list, I get to reuse that to see the same thing when I go to the detail.
Technically, it's a positive, but user
Technically,
experience
it's quite
is a
cool
negative.
because it's reusable. But yeah, you're right.
But you
Chances
could
are, on a
improve
real
that.
blog, you might want to add some
But
more.
you
So
could improve that.
You could have another flag in there that says
Exactly.
show full details or show partial details. So
Yes. So
it's quite nice.
Venkatesh, put the alarm or robot or something. Right, counting down. I know it doesn't count, but who wins? You get the deciding vote of the overall of CodeKombat Season 1. This is the final episode 5. Who should win? And then we'll talk about...
It's where you find out Venkatesh just left the chat.
Yeah. And then you'll find out about Season 2, which is going to start in early 2020. And it's going to be really exciting because it's actually going to involve everyone who's watching.
Maybe we should talk about that while votes come in.
Okay.
So I think we're looking at probably in early February for the next season. So we've got some streams planned where people want to come and join us, and we'll do some more techie kind of going into a few things for the standard kind of Code Mortals world of things. Talk a bit more about recruitment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, developers.
But because we're going over the Christmas period and holiday season, we thought we don't want to break up the next series and have like one mid-December and then the next one mid-January or something. So I think we're looking start of February, maybe last week in Jan, for the next Code Mortal season to start, and then chances are we'll do another 5 episodes. We need to think a little bit more about the detail because we're trying to come up with an idea whereby, as people viewing the stream, you get to control an aspect of what's going on. It might be controlling what the camera does. It might be being able to vote for things like we've got right now. So you can do real-time voting or something. But something that's interactive with what's going on the stream is I think, is going to be the theme for it.
That'd be really good.
But we just need to flesh it out a little bit more on the detail side. So that's probably number one at the right now. We have talked about building a game as well. But that might be the following season. Because what we're also talking about was getting Lego, where you can build like Lego robots
and then you
stuff.
can control it with code.
We could have them fight each other.
Yes, and then we could get the audience to like go left and right, and he could control the robot
so
over
we could
the
bring
internet
in
to combine the 2 series. So next season, if we did the
We've
audience
got a way of
interaction,
starting to control what was going on.
then the season afterwards, we could do us controlling the robot,
Yeah.
and then the season after that, we could have the audience controls the robot. CodeKombat Wars.
Remote combat. We'll have to get a few more. We'll have like a whole army. So like 10
Player
this side,
one,
10
player
this
two. I
side.
don't know about 10, but
And then, all out war.
that would be good. I think that's a really good idea. Okay, that's the next 3 seasons sorted.
That's going to keep us busy up until probably the middle of the year.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
So,
Venkatesh can't decide. He's being too kind.
it's a tie. Don't
A tie
play
for the first
diplomatic.
season. No, we can't have a tie for the first season.
The winner. What does the winner get?
To go home.
Yeah. Venkatesh, thank you very much for being diplomatic, but you need to choose a winner. You need to choose me. I mean, someone. Don't be influenced.
We can't have a tie this week.
Don't be influenced by what I'm saying or who your favorite person is or who's better looking. But pick me. That's what you need to do. So yes, do that. So we'll give you a countdown again. You get an alarm this time. So usually we get the alarm, but now you get the alarm. And
what other factors have we got that we can go by? I'm just trying to think. Are there any other things that we could go
So
by?
you want
on
technical-
the API? What have you got on your API?
I've got Elasticsearch, massive scaling of Elasticsearch with my.
And what are you doing with Elasticsearch to make it special?
Got like 10 blog posts. Look.
Okay, so what does Elasticsearch do for you right now? What can you do
I could do
on
full
your blog?
text search.
No. What's it doing right
what
now?
can
What
I do?
are you using out of Elasticsearch right now that makes it worthwhile having it there?
Create and get list.
Yeah, I've got that as well, but I'm using Mongo. What have you got that is
Can
special?
yours scale to 10 blog posts?
I think I'm coping. Yeah.
Okay, Eddie's on fire. Yeah.
Eddie's on fire. Oh, that's you burned. That's it.
But look, I've got this plus. Okay, I've got the final deciding fact. I got it right. The winning. Venkatesh said it's a draw. I know the final criteria.
How about we run the tests?
No,
See if the test still works.
That's a good idea. But wait, do me a favor. Drop your database. I'll drop mine, and we can see who can create 10 blog posts fastest. That's the deciding factor. I can generate the data, and I can generate 10 like that. But the tests one is actually probably better. So run the test and see whose breaks.
Okay, we can run the test.
They're both going to pass, aren't they? Because we didn't write fuck all tests.
Oh, there's definitely some tests in there.
Okay, let's have a look. How do you run the test? Front end.
Okay.
It was Cypress, right? So I can share my screen if you want.
I need to go. I'm
Is
going
that
to stop
screen
that
sharing?
one.
Yeah.
So I need to build the front end if I remember right. I've got a build command.
I have no idea how to run a test. It was just like 2 weeks ago.
Run
Let's have a look.
build.
And then we do need to call it a day. We are getting delirious. Let's have a look. So if I open my package JSON, it doesn't seem to open. Oh, it's open up on the right hand side. Right, let me just close that, and then go back to package JSON. Is this in the UI front end? Here we go. So how do we run Cypress? So
I assume you got a build command to build the project. Oh no, you weren't. You were running it off the dev version, weren't you?
I was running it all off the dev version. Yes. So I can't even remember the commands. Isn't it like npx Cypress open, right?
Sounds about right.
Let's have a look and see if these tests now pass. So is this the deciding factor?
Well, if they both pass, then we're back to a draw, aren't we?
Okay, run all specs. Let's go. How's yours going?
I'm just doing the build.
What? You need a new laptop?
Well, yeah, if it was not running the stream as well, it would have been done like 5 minutes ago.
That's pretty good. It'd be done before you've started it. That's really impressive.
Exactly.
Wow, predicts. What have you written, Andrew? That's like pretty fucking awesome. Okay, it's running the tests. Looks good. Oh, I got a failure. Do I have time to fix it?
No, you don't get to fix it. We just want to see, do they work? I mean, I'll show. I've got no. Well,
I got one failure. Yeah, I got one failure.
Right, I'll come to my screen.
Like, what is this? Should I just see what the failure is?
So there's my test files there. You can see there's no changes. They're not coloured, so it's still the previous test files. And I'm going to now. I've built the code, so I'm going to start it. npm run test start. Okay, so that starts the program, and then npm run, and then test run.
Are we on your
open up
screen?
Cypress. Hopefully.
I hope it's catching up.
Yeah, it's probably just a little bit behind on the video.
Yeah, it's switched now. Okay. Trying to see why mine failed. Well, I think mine failed because it's so awesome, and it said it's so awesome. If it were really bad, let Andrew in, so it failed for that reason. That's what the error says. It says error, too awesome. Wanted to give Andrew a chance.
Why is it not finding the package, Jason?
Yours doesn't even run.
No, that's
I win. It needs to get running tests. Come on, Venkatesh.
Oh, it's all right.
Who wins?
It's because I opened a new tab and I need to actually go into the folder. That would help.
Are you rewriting tests? We'll keep an eye on him. He's rewriting tests, isn't he?
There's no rewriting a test. I just happened to open a new tab for the console and yeah, just need to open it up. Okay, so Cypress is opening. Come on, Cypress, show. I really hate it when I'm running the stream.
Okay, it's quite heavy.
Overloading the laptop. Okay, here we go. Right. Come on.
Should we come back tomorrow?
Run specs. Let's see what happens.
It's going to fail. Come on, fail. A bit of thunder. A bit of crowd. Oh no, the crowd's for the winning one.
A cheer
no, that's for the winning one.
When my tests go green.
Oh yeah, that's true. I have it ready. Okay.
Come on, test.
It's taking forever to run. I'm pressing all the audio buttons, by the way. I don't know what's being played.
Oh, okay. Come on then. We're waiting. Yeah.
So the crowd's going to scream for one of us. If yours don't even run, I get to win.
Yeah.
Come on.
I hate the test. The fact this is running on here.
We need a streaming server.
7, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, hang on. I can see it. Just did some stuff in the background. There we go. It's loaded.
Okay, it's finally running. 5 years later.
Get a faster computer is the key. Oh, the first one passed.
Oh
Second
no!
Passed and passed. Might have taken a while because the stream really dogs out my
Although
computer.
I don't think you did enough testing.
I didn't do enough testing. It was basically the same sort of stuff you were doing.
3 blog posts on there. How many do you have on there?
3. Look, if I go to the test and open it, and we can jump through and we can see.
There's 3.
Yeah, there's
Okay,
3.
I was just checking you didn't
It's
like
working.
say 3 blog posts
just pass,
return
pass,
true. Yes. Okay. So on that note, crowd again. Andrew is our winner.
Close call. I thought they were actually going to both pass. Both sides were going to be out.
So the winning prize is you get the glory.
I've decided
of
what
the
the
people
next season's
watching.
going to be. No.
Yeah, you can do as long as you listen to me.
No, we will have some discussion. We will fight
share
it out
and we'll share on social so you can get involved.
Join us for a stream soon, because I'm sure we will have a discussion on a stream soon. We'll plan it out a bit more detail what we're going to do. Probably early New Year, I think.
Sounds
We've
good.
got a few other things planned, haven't we, for some of the streams. So
That's true.
early New Year, we'll do a stream. We'll discuss what the next one's going to be, and you can help us flesh out what sort of things we can have for each of the episodes.
Sounds good. Thank you all for joining us for this first season of CodeKombat, episode 5, the final one.
It's been stressful.
And
Every single episode, I think I've been stressed, certainly in the last few minutes, hoping that I don't break something. So.
But I think it's good. It shows
It shows the reality of what goes on.
In reality, even with like 30 years combined experience between us, that, put us in an hour and a half, kind of almost like test-like, interview-like, maybe not as bad as that, right? Because we know if we fail, nothing really fails. But in an interview, you're even more nervous. But it shows that you need to Google things. It shows that you forget things. You need to look things up. And I think that's just normal.
Also shows we have our limits. I mean, you look at what we've built, and I wouldn't say either of them are very pretty because we're not designers. It's that you need someone around that says, okay, you do this, do that. And okay, we could build it and make it look like that. But we're not designers, so you use things like material to help kickstart stuff, or you go, okay, I'll do it vanilla because at some point I know someone's going to come along and tell me on the project what to do. But you need more people than just a developer to make a project a success. But in a matter of 5 hours, you can build, well, I would say anything, but you can build a fairly straightforward
You can build something like a low fidelity sort of. Absolutely.
You can certainly show someone a prototype of, this is what you could have.
So I need to lose some hearts. You should lose some as well, actually.
You're a goner.
Because you lost a few for, what did you lose it for? It was...
I can't remember what it was now. There was something.
Okay, we'll leave you with one.
Okay.
There you go. You got
one by 1 point.
1 by 1 point.
1 by 1 point. That's how close it was.
It was a close match. Awesome. We'll call it there. Thank you very much. We'll see you on one of our next streams. We've actually got a stream with Amina and 3 other developers as well. So 4 developers. Week after next. 2 weeks. 2 weeks Monday. 7 p.m. UK time. We have a stream with 4 developers.
We'll
3
see how
developers.
many turn up. You never know.
And we want to hear their story about how they got their first job and how some of them are in their second job now and some of the challenges they've had. So please come along and listen and ask your questions and share your experiences as well. Thank you, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Yep, it's been great. Have a good week.